Welcome, facilitators, to the Agenda Gap Facilitators Guide. This is your essential briefing for Workshop 6, Policy Basics.
Yeah, we've basically boiled down the key stuff you need to know, the practical tips to get you ready so this session goes really smoothly.
Today, we're really diving into how policy shapes, well, everything in daily life, especially for young people,
Yeah.
and why their voice in actually making policy is just so vital.
hmm
Plus, this workshop is a big step, isn't it? Moving from learning to, actual action planning.
Absolutely. So our goal here is just to make sure you've got a really clear handle on Workshop 6's purpose, what you need to prep, and some key delivery tips. We want you feeling confident running it.
Okay, great. So let's jump right in. Workshop 6, Policy Basics. What's the main goal for the youth here?
The core idea is really empowering them, helping them understand how policies affect them, personally, and that they can actually be agents of change.
Okay. And what specifically should they be able to do by the end?
All right, so by the end of this 2-hour session, the aim is they can identify the different levels and roles of government in Canada,
Okay.
define what policy is, and describe how it actually shows up in their everyday lives.
Mm-hmm.
Explain the real benefits when youth get involved in policymaking. And importantly, identify some factors that challenge positive mental health and see where there are opportunities for policy change and advocacy.
That feels like a really solid set of goals. And you mentioned it's a transition point,
Yeah,
kicking off a new phase.
exactly, yeah. This workshop starts phase 2 of the Agenda Gap program. It's where things shift.
Right.
We move from building that knowledge and those relationships towards really connecting it all to action planning. It's about firming up their project goals and getting them ready to use their skills for advocacy, policy engagement.
Okay, makes sense. So let's unpack the prep for facilitators. What do you need to actually do before you walk into this session?
The main thing is you'll need to review the AWE results from the last workshop. That's the Awareness, Well-Being, and Engagement Survey.
Right.
And then just summarize those findings concisely. You'll share that summary back with the group. However works best for them, could be verbally, on a slide, whatever fits.
Okay. Anything to keep in mind for after Workshop 6?
Yes, definitely. After this session, your task is to collect the information about the challenges the youth identified.
Ah,
This
okay.
info is going to be really helpful later for the group to either reach a consensus or maybe narrow down a specific policy they want to target.
Got it. Okay, let's talk about the workshop itself. The flow, delivery tips, how does it actually start?
So you'll start with your usual welcome and then connect and open. Ask the youth to share, like a powerful personal event, something meaningful to them.
Nice way to connect.
Yeah, and then you'll review that AWE summary you prepared and share any anonymous compliments that came out of the last session. It just helps build that positive vibe right away.
And I guess a quick look back to sort of ground them.
Exactly. Just take a moment to remind them what they've covered already. Concepts like resilience, social determinants of health.
Right, those non-medical things like housing, education.
Precisely. And mental health promotion. Plus, they've done identity mapping,
Mm-hmm.
learned about challenging inequities.
Mm-hmm.
Then you look forward. Let them know that this session dives into how policy specifically impacts mental health because it shapes those social determinants.
Okay. And how do you figure out where they're starting from in terms of understanding policy, like without putting them on the spot?
Good question. There's a quick gauging knowledge activity.
Mhm.
You just ask them, maybe on a scale of 1 to 5, how familiar they feel with policy,
Ah, okay.
and have everyone show their number at the same time.
Hmm.
It's fast, low pressure, gives you a quick read of the room.
Nice. And that leads naturally into the frame section, I imagine.
It does. Perfect lead-in. You'll
Yeah.
play the Youth Uprising video. It's great for connecting power, policy, and youth action.
Mm.
Then you just talk about it. What did they think? After that, you can use some slides to formally define policy, basically, the ideas or plans governments or organizations use to make decisions.
Right.
And crucially, explain how changing policy can actually change systems to better support mental health by addressing those social determinants.
And what about that gap slide you mentioned? How does that fit in?
Yeah, the gap slide is key. It's where you explain that, to really change policy, youth need 2 things. They need to be informed, and they need to take constructive action.
Okay.
Policies often end up reflecting whoever shouts the loudest,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So building a strong, informed, collective youth voice is how they get heard. It's critical.
Makes total sense. Okay, let's get into the activities. First up is a day in the life. What's that about?
So this is about a 20-minute activity. The goal is just to help them see how much policy impacts everyday stuff.
Stuff they might not even think about.
Exactly. You start by playing the "What does each level of government do?"
Yeah.
video. Quick overview.
Hmm.
Then, either in small groups or maybe as one big group, they brainstorm policies that touch their daily lives. Think about getting up, going to school, transport, what they do after school.
Right.
They think about who makes or enforces those policies. And the big question, why is it important for youth to actually be at the table when these policies are made?
And you also need to point out that policies aren't just from government, right?
Oh, yeah, crucial point. Make sure they understand that policies come from organizations, schools, associations,
Hmm.
even families have policies in a way. It's broader than just laws.
I like the part where they draw a stick person.
Yeah, it's fun. It makes it visual and collaborative. They map out their character's day and connect it to policies like bike lanes, school rules about phones, whatever.
Any tips if they get stuck brainstorming? Like if they're just thinking big government stuff?
Definitely. If they stall, throw out some really everyday examples. Using sidewalks, that's policy. Drinking clean tap water, policy regulated. Noise bylaws about loud music. Turning down music after a certain hour.
Ah, okay. Shows how broad it is.
Exactly. Just helps widen their lens.
Okay, what's next? The mapping the challenge tree. Sounds important.
It is. This one's really central, about 30 minutes. You use the challenge tree image, it's on page 54 in the Facilitator guide,
Got it.
and you explain the metaphor. So the leaves are the challenges they see or experience,
Yeah.
like racism or maybe lack of mental health support.
Okay.
The trunk is how those challenges get sort of built into systems through harmful policies or practices, institutionalized.
Right.
And the roots, those are the deeper underlying beliefs or historical causes, the why behind it all.
And this connects back to things they've discussed before.
Precisely. You encourage them. Think back to challenges you talked about in earlier workshops. Revisit those social determinants of health again.
Mm-hmm.
Then, as a group, they literally annotate the tree image, talk about overlaps, how challenges might hit different people differently based on their identity, and then they try to name the policies on the trunk and the beliefs at the roots.
What's the outcome of this activity? What do they walk away with?
The key output is focus. Each young person identifies their top 3 challenges they want to prioritize working on.
Ah, okay, so it starts building consensus.
Exactly. You tally up the votes, see where the energy is, which challenges have the most buy-in. This really helps guide where their advocacy efforts might go next. You encourage them to think about what they're passionate about, maybe do a bit more research.
That really does sound like it sets them up for action. Any tips for the facilitator during this part?
Yeah, a couple of things. As they identify priorities, maybe start thinking yourself about which of these challenges have policies that seem, realistically changeable by a youth group.
Good point. Practicality matters.
Right. And maybe explore if other groups are already working on these issues. Connecting with them could be powerful. Oh, and don't stress if they don't reach perfect consensus right then. You can always circle back at the start of the next workshop.
Okay, good to know. And how do you wrap up workshop 6, the close?
The Connect and Close focuses on rights. Specifically, your rights as a tool for advocacy,
Powerful framing.
isn't it? You play the National Child Day, Understanding Children's Rights in Canada video. Then you discuss it and specifically bring up the Convention on the Rights of the Child, the CRC from 1989.
So connecting policy work directly to human rights.
Yes. Ask if they've even heard of the convention. Many might not have. Then talk about what makes human rights special.
Hmm.
They belong to everyone. We're all born equal. All rights matter. They can't be taken away. And really highlight Article 12 of the CRC. That's the one that gives them the right to give their opinion on matters affecting them, and for adults to actually listen and take it seriously.
That's huge for them to know. Is there a final activity to help that sink in?
Yeah, a quick one. Have them draw personal mind maps, put themselves in the center,
Okay.
and then branch out with ways they personally use or support human rights in their lives. Things like going to school, that's the right to education. Applying for a job, right to non-discrimination. Just makes it more concrete for them. And then finally, you distribute the AW survey for this session, thank them for participating, and you're done.
Wow, that was a really thorough walkthrough of Workshop 6. Seems like you've got a clear path mapped out for guiding youth, from understanding policy basics to identifying challenges and really stepping into that action phase.
Yeah, it's a pivotal session. Their knowledge really starts becoming plans here. And remember, your approach, confident, practical, empathetic, that's what really empowers them.
So, facilitators, as you prep, maybe reflect on that. What really strikes you about the power of a young person's voice in shaping the policies that literally define their world? How can you best amplify that? Keep that in mind.
Great thought.
We'll be back soon with your briefing for Workshop 7.